On the morning of December 26, 1996, the Ramsey family's home in Boulder, Colorado, was filled with the aftermath of a joyful Christmas. Patsy Ramsey, the mother of 6-year-old JonBenét, was waking up early to prepare for the day ahead. However, what she found that morning would forever alter her life and the lives of everyone who followed the tragic story. Patsy entered JonBenét's bedroom, expecting to find her daughter sleeping peacefully after the Christmas festivities. Instead, she was met with a terrifying reality. JonBenét was nowhere to be found. Panic set in as Patsy frantically searched the house. She ran down to the basement, where she found a shocking sight: her daughter's body hidden under a blanket. JonBenét had been brutally murdered. The discovery shocked not just the Ramsey family, but the entire nation. JonBenét had been a child beauty queen, winning pageants and making appearances in the media. She was a familiar face to many, and her death instantly became a media sensation. But as the investigation began, it quickly became clear that there were many puzzling and unsettling details surrounding the case. A ransom note was found on the staircase of the home. It was long and disturbing, demanding $118,000 for JonBenét's safe return, a figure eerily close to the bonus her father, John Ramsey, had received at work. The note was written in a way that seemed staged, almost as if someone were trying too hard to make it seem like an abduction. There were no signs of forced entry into the home, and nothing in the house appeared to have been stolen. The authorities were left with many questions. If the note was real, why would an abductor leave a ransom demand in such an odd location? Why didn't the kidnapper try to take anything else? And why would they leave the body in the basement when they could have easily fled with it? These questions remained unanswered, creating a web of mystery that would grow ever more tangled as the investigation continued. The autopsy revealed the horrifying details of JonBenét's death. She had been strangled with a piece of her own clothing, and there were signs of blunt force trauma to her head. Despite these findings, there was no definitive proof pointing to anyone in particular. The police's initial investigation was shrouded in confusion. The Ramsey family, who had found JonBenét's body, became the center of suspicion. John and Patsy Ramsey were questioned extensively, but both denied any involvement in their daughter's death. A lot of attention focused on Patsy, whose background as a pageant mother made her an easy target for speculation. But despite an intense investigation, there was no physical evidence linking either of the parents to the crime. Then the investigation took a strange turn. DNA evidence recovered from JonBenét's clothing eventually pointed to an unknown male. This new discovery only deepened the mystery. How could the DNA match an unknown person if the Ramsey family was not involved? Could the killer have been a stranger who had broken into the house unnoticed? Or was someone in the family possibly covering up a darker secret? As time went on, the case grew colder, with few new leads emerging. Theories abounded. Some believed that the family was involved in the murder and that the ransom note was a fabricated attempt to cover up the crime. Others suggested that an intruder had broken into the house and murdered JonBenét, but there were still no clear answers. There were also theories about possible connections to local pedophiles, or that the pageant world may have played a role. But all of these theories lacked solid evidence to support them. The media circus surrounding the case only intensified the pressure on investigators. Public opinion shifted frequently, with many suspecting that the Ramsey family had something to hide, while others believed they were victims of a twisted, unsolved crime. For years, the case remained a tangled web of speculation, theories, and dead ends. Despite new attempts to solve the case, including re-examinations of evidence and DNA testing, JonBenét Ramsey's murder remains one of the most infamous and unsolved cases in American history. No one has ever been charged with her death, and the mystery continues to haunt the public's imagination. To this day, the questions surrounding JonBenét's death remain unanswered. Was she the victim of an elaborate scheme by someone close to her family, or did a random stranger carry out the brutal crime? Was the ransom note part of an elaborate cover-up, or was it real? And who was the unknown male whose DNA was found at the crime scene? The murder of JonBenét Ramsey is a mystery that, more than 2 decades later, continues to captivate the world. It's a case filled with questions that no one seems able to answer, leaving the story of JonBenét's life and death forever marked by uncertainty and intrigue.